Hi. Well, it's funny as meeting like this. I'm not used to doing this sort of thing. Dates in particular. So I hope everything's okay. I set out some things I thought you might like. Sorry if I look a bit rough. I was on a hunt this morning, so I'm rather hungry. Please sit down. So, how's your day been? Yeah. Well, it's quite a cold one today, isn't it? Although, despite it being cold, I tend to wear the same outfit. I know I really should invest in warmer clothes, but I find that it actually hinders my movements, so wearing a big fur throw's not actually that practical. Well, you see, a lot of witches, we're all put into the same box, but some of us can actually be quite different from one another. Me, for example, being, a woman, obviously, a lot of people thought that you couldn't get female witches, which is silly. I don't know if I could say I enjoy it or not. It's more that it was just meant to be. Sometimes it's stressful, difficult, dangerous, all of the above. But it can be quite rewarding. I was actually surprised that you wanted to come out with me because a lot of people actually fear my kind. You must be brave then. Yes. Well, often that's the case. I try to ignore, the comments made and the sniggering and foul talk. But sometimes it does get to me a little bit. Makes me angry. Most witches are rather, we'll say, unemotional. But you've heard of Geralt. Geralt of Rivia. Yes, he's quite famous. Well, Geralt is, I would say, an exception to the rule. You probably heard the story of Princess Cyrilla. Well, you see, their story is quite complicated, but it goes to show that despite witches being notoriously unemotional, brutal, murderers, we do have big hearts. You seem quite intrigued. If you have any questions, then I'll be happy to answer. I've got nothing to hide. Well, it's hard to say how many I've slain. Well, it's definitely over 20. They're quite difficult beasts to slay as well, not to brag. I suppose all my life has been is about the hunt, really. Not much time for anything else, I suppose. Well, I think the best thing about it is that I feel a lot of freedom in doing it. It's quite lonely, despite there being a few of us. It's quite a lonely job, I suppose. You pass through towns and come across all kinds of beings, creatures, monsters, people. And sometimes people are the worst of the monsters. There are a few beasts that I've slain that quite simple and can mean that they're quite innocent. Do I regret it? No, I can't. That's just part of being a witcher. Sometimes you have to look at things as black and white. It just makes it easier. But despite people being scared of us, I would say we're actually good people, because we do help people. I've helped entire villages and all I've gotten is a rotten apples thrown at me. You do tend to grow quite cold from that alone. But that's not their fault, I suppose. I know that they're just scared. They're not to blame, really. But I can't help but take it personally sometimes. And that's what sets me apart from some of the witches. Some of us are completely bloodthirsty and don't care what people think of them. And others, like me, they tend to look into things more. For example, if I was like the others, I wouldn't be sat here with you. Oh, I got you a present. See if you can guess what it is first. Want a clue? Well, this object is completely natural. But it's quite special all the same. I acquired it upon a very high mountain top. No, it's not an animal. Don't worry, it's not a dead animal. I wouldn't do that to you. Is that your final guess? And don't laugh when I show you it, because it may look simple and common, but I did trek quite a way to get it for you. There you go. Isn't it sweet? I know, you probably think me silly, but I do really like them. You see, you can actually find all kinds of creatures inside them. This one doesn't have any though. I didn't want it getting all over the food. You can find some pretty nasty ones, but some beautiful ones too. That makes a great home for little creatures, doesn't it? I'll leave it here for you. The only thing about foraging is make yourself hungry looking for the food. there isn't much around this part of the woods, so I'm afraid this is all we have. Yeah, we're still quite lucky. You know, a lot of places they only have bread and water. And sometimes when I'm out on a hunt, I get quite desperate for food. Although sometimes we can survive on just a single blueberry for a few days. But it's not good for the muscles or the brain. So I will often just look for berries, and that's plenty. So tell me, what is the scariest monster that you've come across? I'm sure I would know it. Most likely slain them before too. That does sound familiar. They're quite nasty. It can take a while before they just leave you alone. And you locked yourself in for 5 days. That's rather a long time. Wouldn't you get bored? No attempt to fight it off yourself. Well, it's a good job you have me now, isn't it? No, I didn't think to bring my weapons too close. Well, you see, it tends to scare people. I mean, I do have a secret one on me, but I left my larger swords just outside on Roach. Roach was a gift to me from Geralt. Yeah, he's a great horse. Well, nobody dare steal from a witcher. And you know, Roach is quite notorious around here. And we're quite well known. I can't tell you if it's positive or negative yet, though. I think mostly people are just scared of me. But I'm one of the nicer ones. More reasonable, perhaps. Some of the witches are terribly hard-headed. They don't like people, so they don't make the effort. Which is fair enough, I suppose. I don't suppose you would know, but I've actually been looking for a creature. It's quite rare. And you see, I need something from it. It's called a striga. Do you know it? The reason I ask is because I heard that it was around these parts recently, and despite my best efforts, I can't find it. They can be quite, well, they can be quite a nuisance mostly, but they're quite smart in some ways too. Perhaps you'd like to come along with me for the hunt. Maybe it's better if we both go. We might have more luck. They are very vicious though, I will warn you. We should probably get you some armor. I fear if you go out like that, and if you got struck by something, you wouldn't last very long. Yes, I'm aware of that. I noticed it when you came in. How long ago was it? You see. and everyone died. I'm very sorry. You know, death is one thing that us witches are not scared of. Can't really comprehend. I would say it's more of a blessing than a curse. You see, we face danger every day, so you kind of have to not really think about it. Especially when you're out hunting, you have to sort of clear your mind of things. You can immediately tell if something's bothering Geralt. He has this look on his face, and he kind of goes, You've seen it before. I know you have. Well, Geralt and I have known each other for quite a while. And I have to say, I feel like he doesn't give much away, still. So no, even after knowing him as long as I have, there's still not a great deal to say. If you've met him, you will understand. He's a very private man. Not necessarily secretive, but he holds everything up here. Only says what is necessary. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that, really. Some people talk far too much. Especially the humans. No offense. The ones that are drunk, mostly. Well, sometimes you just have to laugh at them. Yes, I've been involved in quite a few brawls. I try not to, because I don't want to upset people around. It's not very helpful to me. If ever I need advice on a hunt or something, or I need to track a monster down, asking people can be quite helpful. No, I'm not at all bad, but some ones are really difficult. Like this streaker, for example. Well, you'll find out why I need it, if we find it. Well, this has been really nice, and I hope we can do this again. But if you want to join me in the hunt, let me know. I'll sort you out. Okay. Well, I hope you sleep well, and let me know in the morning if you'd like to join me. I leave as the sun rises, so just bear that in mind.